Other interesting business news, you have Ford F-150 Lightning sales down 50%, which also known as terrible. And for those who went to U.S. public schools, that's half. I jest because I also went to public schools. So these days I just shudder in fear in terms of the things that you see teachers actually promulgating these days, but I partially digress, another topic for another time perhaps. Now this comes to us thanks to EnginePetrol.com, specifically Ian Sawyer, who's a writer over there. And he says, quote, Nissan, sorry, I was just talking about Nissan, brain fart. If you click that subscribe button, it may very well help with my speaking aptitudes. I have a theory. When I first started the show, basically no one tuned in, had like maybe 3 subscribers, family members really. But as I slowly, and my speaking back then was terrible, spoke even faster than now and stumbled over my words worse than Joe Biden trying to climb upstairs. But as I slowly but surely gain more subscribers, I become more and more articulate. Granted, it was a low bar to be good enough, but if you do me a favor, click that button, I will someday make it through an entire episode speaking perfectly, slowly, articulately, and energetically. So if you do that, I greatly appreciate it. Now, again, me attempting to speak English, which is my first language as well, but say, quote, Ford F-150 Lightning sales dropped 50% in October. Customers scaled back on the F-150 Lightning purchases, prompting Ford to reduce production. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And again, sorry about the eyesore. You're going to see the Ford F-150 Lightning, which, yeah, it's not great. Now, they say, quote, Ford Ford had high expectations for next generation of EVs. I laugh because they lost $132,000 per EV sold Q3, also known as terrible. I think they lost $136,000 per EV Q2, so slightly better, but still a long way to go, which isn't easy for an EV. Haha, range pun. They say, quote, this was underscored by an 8.3% drop in EV sales compared to October last year. The biggest setback came from the Ford F-150 Lightning, which plummeted sales by 49.8%. Given the sharp decline, it's unsurprising that Ford has recently announced plans for a temporary production pause for later this month, extending into early next year, which, yeah, that's something you really rarely ever see. We're going to shut down production for a couple months. Yeah, that's pretty bad. That means the Ford F-150 Lightnings on the dealer lots are starting to collect copious amounts of dust. Now they say, quote, while buyers stepped away from the electric Ford F-150, some of them are gravitating towards the Mustang E-Mach, which sales climbed by 21.3%. Are they inebriated with Bud Light? People are buying the Mustang E-Mach. No relation to the real Mustang with the V8 and a stick shift, which all cars should have by default anyway. They say this upward trend might continue as Ford recently announced pricings of $36,000, $495 for the 2025 model, $3,500 less than the previous version. That's great. Although still an EV, so still disposable, so have fun with that battery down the road, but I partially digress. They also know that people are buying. How are business owners buying this? They're noticing that the Ford e-Transit sales surged by 181.1%. Now, granted, a wise man, well, one of the few things I did learn in college, I could count them on probably one hand, a business statistics professor did always propagate, know your sample size. Very true. So, again, it sounds like a lot. They went up by 181.1%, but that means they sold 1,088 units. So again, that's, and every major automotive company has those big boxy vehicles for business owners, and tradesmen. They're great, but yeah, it's so funny. 1,088 units, which again, if my business needed an actual vehicle, which we do some IT recycle projects where it's so infrequent, we usually just borrow a truck or something smaller. If we actually needed something on a more high frequency basis, I would never buy an EV, especially the IT recycle. This stuff weighs a lot. So you'd be able to tow it maybe 12 feet. I'm only partially exaggerating. Now, they continue to say, quote, while Ford didn't detail hybrid sales, by number, the automaker reported a 38.5% increase in hybrid sales in October, surpassing conventional model sales, which rose 14% to 148,268 units. Though they did not break down which specific hybrids are doing the best, which, again, Toyota called it right. I'm not a big fan of hybrids. Obviously, they only have 2 pedals. Obviously, no manual transmission, so it's boring as hell to me. But Toyota read the room right. They invested more into hybrid technology than any other automotive manufacturer in the past 24 months. And I think it's going to reap dividends. So it'll be interesting to see as we get into the new calendar year, maybe interest rates drops, especially for auto sales. Will that help bolster EVs? Well, a lot of speculation with the automotive industry because it's so highly regulated. Sorry. Speaking way too fast, appreciate the feedback. It's something I'm constantly working on, believe it or not. Getting back to me, attempting to speak slowly. And again, appreciate all the feedback to make the show better. There's so much speculation in the automotive community right now in terms of what Trump just gets rid of all these EV subsidies, so you no longer get the $7,500 kickback from the government. how might that influence the market? I'm really skeptical in terms of I'm not sure how many people would actually pull the trigger if they didn't have that huge subsidy. But I don't know. I mean, EV trucks are one of those things where you can't really tow. I know majority of trucks aren't really towing anyway, but yeah, I think it's just that well, not just perception, but the real thing of the range anxiety with trucks. That's why I'm so skeptical about the mass adaptation of EV trucks in general, even if a lot of them are pavement queens. But let me know in the comments. Do you think that Ford F-150 Lightning will, explode in sales in 2025? Or do you think the excitement, all the early adopters already got one in the driveway by now? Do you think it's going to start just downtrending crazy perpetually? Let me know in the comments, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, trying to get it 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button, I'd greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment is a great way to give me some direct feedback, letting me know I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.